vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Om Gyan Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so I've been given a heads up that in the West London Temple they're going to have some engagement after half an hour, but that Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu is there and he's going to represent the whole of London, Saraswati told me. So first of all, to the London devotees, my obeisances and good to see Saraswati, Lavanya Moy Devidasi, Anjali and Gadadhar Pandit, our first speaker of the evening. So can we pass this over to you? But somebody's highlighted me. Okay, highlighted us. Let's highlight the London Temple with all its festive decorations and let us hear some news and some Hari Katha from there. The theme that Devashish Prabhu always giving us a wonderful theme. This week's theme is Fools Rush In Where Angels Fear to Tread. Over to you, West London.
I feel like a fool rushing in.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. I haven't, to be honest, I feel a little put on the spot, but I also feel a bit honored to be put on the spot, so it's no problem. And I haven't had time to contemplate too much this topic, which is, of course, a very important topic. It's a theme that is emphasized by our Guru Varga, by our Guru Dev, by Srila Govinda Maharaj, by our Param Guru Dev, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Guru Maharaj. And of course, that is because it was heavily emphasized by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So I haven't had too much time to think exactly how to make some kind of systematic little spiel on it, but the basics of it, the fundamentals, relate to protecting the integrity of one's spiritual life and making sure that whatever progress one does make is real progress, that the progress one makes is on a solid foundation, and that foundation is real, so that the gains made are solid and permanent and not vulnerable to collapse or corruption of any kind. What to speak of being counterfeit or sahajya, artificial or imitationist. Guru Maharaj in this regard is on, there is a video of Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, talking about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Brajamandal Parikram. Would have been in the year 1932 or 1933. And he is touring Vrindavan with his disciples and fellow pilgrims. And after the completion of the parikram, which includes Radhakund, in despair, he slaps his palm on his forehead and he says, alas, I am so unfortunate, I have not come across throughout the duration of this parikram a real Vaishnav. Quite a dramatic, profound, heavy statement. And Guru Maharaj says that there is so many Babajis at that time. He says this, his own words. There are so many Babajis in Radhakund, lots of them. And yet Siddhanta Saraswati is saying, I have not come across in my tour of Brajamandal a real Vaishnav. And he clasps his hand to his head and says, this is my misfortune. So what is the import? Then there's a little continuation to that story. Someone mentions a particular name and Siddhanta Saraswati gives his verdict on that person. But the moral, the import of this pastime, this instructive piece of history is that although one may be seemingly living and practicing some kind of bhajan or sadhana in what is considered the most sacred place to Vaishnavas in the universe, Radhakund, to the actual Vaishnav, that is not considered the real thing. That is considered something that appears like the real thing externally, but does not contain the actual substance that constitutes real bhakti. So Siddhanta Saraswati says, I have not met a real devotee, a real Vaishnav here. And so this was the crux of the message of Srila Saraswati Thakur, to protect what is real devotion. And it is said that in achieving that goal, he's shed so many gallons of blood showing us what is not bhakti, showing us where not to go, what not to do. In other words, a protective function to make sure that what we did do was the real thing. And because of that, we can have full faith in someone that does do that. That is an ultimate, a proper guru, like a genuine guru, protecting the disciples, not cheating them, not showing them a road which does not lead to spiritual fulfillment, that is diversionary. And thus, we can see that carried through from Siddhanta Saraswati to his chief disciple, Srila Guru Maharaj, given the title Bhakti Rakshak. That guardian function is inherited by Srila Guru Maharaj, and he's protecting it, maintaining the quality, the integrity of the entire sampradaya. So we can consider ourselves fortunate to be in that line via Srila Gurudev, etc., and honor that principle, that truth, the integrity of bhakti, that for our benefit has been preserved and protected and etc. by our Gurudev and previous acharyas. So in my humble analysis, that is an active and practical appreciation of the concept of fools rush in where angels fear to tread, is that fools, they fail to appreciate the very essence or the sacred and special and fortunate nature of the teachings that we've come across. The genuine, the preservation, the culture of the genuine article. And if that is, if one fails to appreciate that through wanting something cheap, and cheap things come quickly, good things tend to take time. Items of quality are sold at a higher price. Cheap things are sold at a cheap price. So if one wants to rush the process and purchase a cheap or even counterfeit item, deluding oneself thinking that they have the real thing, then that is dishonoring the gift of a genuine parampara that we have had the fortune to subscribe to be in the line of. So to me, the application of fool's Russian, where angels fear to tread, is to practice fidelity and honor to one's own guru and to the teachings, the ethos, fundamental teachings of our parampara, and be grateful for that and be true to that. Practice fidelity and chastity to that, and be in the confidence that we have been given the real McCoy, the real substance, and not any counterfeit, fraudulent substance that is being peddled in the name of the real thing. So a mixture of fidelity and gratitude, I think, is a product of this theme of fool's Russian, where fidelity and gratitude to one's guru, to Gurudev and our parampara, is a product of appreciating and honoring this concept of fool's Russian, where angels fear to tread. And of course, someone asked Siddhanta Saraswati, like, of course, the fool's Russian part is where people think that they're qualified to enter into the more confidential upper reaches of bhakti. And in this regard, on the same parikrama, Brajamandal, Siddhanta Saraswati was having his disciples and himself reading from the Bhagavatam, but the parts of Prahlad Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj. Now, these are exalted devotees, but the level of bhakti is the level of bhakti is not so liable to sahajas tendencies. It is a safer level to appreciate, and thus, even in the highest place, in the junction area between Radha Kund and Shama Kund, there's a small area where people sit, etc. Siddhanta Saraswati is having them read from the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj, who is Shantarath, and Ambarish Maharaj, and the Upadeshamrita, which begins, as we know, with the instruction to control one's senses. Do not think about doing or acting as a spiritual authority before you can control your senses properly, including your mind. So this was a practical exhibition of the concept of fool's Russian, where angels fear to tread. And we see it in other areas. Even Raghunath Das Goswami, who is known as a Prayojan Tattva Acharya, the Acharya who represents the very goal of Gaudiya Vaishnav achievement, Prayojan, the goal, Prayojan Tattva, he says, Dasyayate mama namostu nityam. Oh no, Sakyayate mama namostu nityam. Dasyayate mama rasostu satyam. I hope I haven't mangled that a little bit, but at least this is the import of that, is that I do not even desire sakyaras, which is friendship. There's a level of intimacy, but I prefer to stay on the level of, I pray for dasyaras, to stay on the level of servitorship. This is where I feel comfortable. And this is a statement by Raghunath Das Goswami, who, as mentioned, is the Prayojan Tattva Acharya. So if he is saying that, what to speak of us? And in this way, we can see that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Guru Maharaj, Gurudev have carried forward the actual spirit of Raghunath Das Goswami, the ethos of his teachings, of the Prayojan Tattva Acharya. Thus, once again, we can be assured and confident of our fortune in being able to receive this, and our almost obligation, we can say, to practice it, to honor it, cherish it, carry it forward as much as we can, to serve it, really, to serve it. So, is that okay, Maharaj?
Actually, I'm very happy and joyful to hear you speak, Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu. We know each other for many years, and we're very happy to hear you now preaching so sweetly and happily. We're the family together, and we want that the younger generation, you're much younger than me, and we want you We want to have like good preachers come along. I mean, just good preachers means, we don't like the word preaching. Okay, people reaching. This phrase that our dear friend Chintamani brought in, people reaching. But we want to be able to reach people with Guru Maharaj and Gurudev's conception, just as it is and sweetly. So, Prabhu, I'm happy to hear your presentation. And this is the very subject matter. And I was very pleased to hear you say about Srila Saraswati Thakur giving gallons of blood. And I don't remember what the percentage was, but something like he said, I gave 95% of my energy. It was to show what is not Mahaprabhu's message. Because when he came, the world was full of Sahajya and Mayavad. And Sahajya means those people who were pretending to be in such high place and taking the name of Gauranga in a very low manner, without any proper behavior, without any proper understanding of Siddhanta, and just for a begging. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj, and we've heard others also saying how the general population, when they were present, then they had disdain for Mahaprabhu's teachings because of how they were being represented, like you said, in a very cheap way, but not only cheap, but in a false way. So what is not Krishna consciousness? Srila Saraswati Thakur so hard emphasized. And we saw that with Guru Maharaj, we saw that with Gurudev, we see this with Srila Prabhupada through his purports. Look at these purports consistently, from the first book to the last book, consistently saying about how we must be so careful. And that's why we must hear the topics, the realm of where angels fear to tread is in the more and more within the finer department of the Goloka Vrindavan, Gokula Vrindavan Leela, and the finer department of Mahaprabhu's Leela. So Radha Pandit very happily, Das Prabhu, Das Prabhu, yes, okay. Anyway, Prabhu, very happily. And you've got a room there of devotees, and you've got Saraswati Devidasi sitting beside you. And I forget your daughter's name. What's your daughter?
Chaitanya Priya.
Chaitanya Priya.
Chaitanya Priya.
Is here also.
Jai, Dandavat, yes, the family are there. And you know Chaitanya Priya, the young Chaitanya Priya, here, they started school with the two children who are living here in the temple, a nearby Indian family. They are not Gaudiya Vaishnava, but they named their daughter Nimai Priya. So that's like very wonderful. It's not a coincidence. So she's living nearby the temple here. So we hope that having that name of Nimai Priya will also bring good fortune to her, as having the name Chaitanya Priya is no doubt bringing good fortune to you and those who call out your name in school and everywhere. Chaitanya Priya, Chaitanya Priya. You are very lucky girl. Lavanyamoy Devirasi, you are a very lucky girl. Okay, we'll say now lady. You're a very lucky lady. You've got the connection of Gurudev, the service connection, and not to have the connection. You are, Saraswati, don't leave the screen. Stay with us. Don't slip away quietly. But let's hear a word or two from Lavanya Moy Devirasi. You're so practical. Just please come close to the microphone.
Doing it again. And 10 lifetimes give me at least. Maybe a million. Really. What can I say? You say such beautiful nectarine words. It's better I just listen, and I don't have anything for to say. Except I'm fortunate to be here. I know that.
All right, Lavanya, that sounds wonderful, and you've said it from the heart. So Saraswati, now it is your turn.
My turn as well. I thought I was going to sleep away by having Gadadhar Pandit here.
And also we're in London. You can just give a little news from London.
Right.
And-
Well, I just got back here and the Lord looks beautiful. You can have a little darkness.
Indeed. Jai Shri Gauranga Sundar ki Jai Shri Giriraj Radha
Giridarju.
Giridhariju. Jai.
So
So
there
you
is,
just got back. Where have you been?
I wonder why. I wonder why. Well, everything is going on here with still with some renovation going on. Yeah, I think Lavanya will know more about the news that you can tell about the news.
It's just tidying up after all the festivals. This last 2 weeks. Putting all the things back in place and got all the flooring the week before the festival. And we just had to shove everything back in the cupboards quickly before everyone came in the door. So now we've just been tidying up and clearing, getting everything back.
Jai. And more festivals are coming. Tomorrow, Jiva Goswami's appearance day. And Vamana, is it Vamana Dev's appearance day tomorrow?
It's today. It's in
Tomorrow
the
on
calendar.
the calendar.
I thought it was already.
The online calendar says tomorrow. It's Dwadasi, so tomorrow is Dwadasi. Today is Ekadasi. Right?
Okay.
Right, so it's worshipped on, okay, but and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day is coming and the disappearance day of Haridas Thakur. And about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, then that in Navadip, we have our own festival in the temple. We're giving honor to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the morning. And every year we have our festival in the temple. And for the last few years of Srila Gurudev's manifest pastimes, then on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, then the devotees of each mat, some devotees of each of the Gaudiya related mats, means coming down from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then devotees from each mat would come together and there would be like a non-denominational gathering, some unity in Mayapur and Navadip, that area, a unity of the many branches by now, many branches and sub-branches of the tree that's come from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This trunk of the tree, which now has branched into many places, but with the common for everybody is recognition of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and the recognition of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur as the two principal presenters of Mahaprabhu's wave in the modern age. And so all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas of the modern time have got their root, the root of their tree and the trunk of the tree is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then, as Guru Maharaj described, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur revealed what was in the heart of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his great desire to give, as it is, the message of Mahaprabhu. So, in a couple of days, I don't know, there do seem to be different calendars around, but in a couple of days, generally the day after the Dvadashi, the Ekadashi, then Dvadashi, and then the next day is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day. And the devotees will come together, and each year on that day, they take it in turns for the temples to host that festival. So it doesn't become, this is only one particular branch of the tree of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Saraswati Thakur. And so this is a very harmonizing day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day. And the other day, which fits this same style of having festivals each year in a different one of the temples, the host of the temples, host temple, but having, as far as possible, all the branches represented and coming together in grand kirtan and sankirtan with the chariot like this, a chariot with a murti of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, And that other festival is the appearance, sorry, when it's Srila Saraswati Thakur, I'm not sure they have a chariot, but the other festival when they all come together like this is for the appearance of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So around the world, we'll all be giving some special honor for Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and realizing the root, remembering the root of all of our sampradayas, of all of our present day branches of the tree, and remembering the very foundation of everything, which is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, common ground through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through the 6 Goswamis, through the Parampara, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gokishore Das Babaji, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And if really we have our eyes open, then we will see that that principal current has come through Srila Guru Maharaj and has been extended to the world by Srila Guru Maharaj's grace and coming through Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. So these days are coming up. And all of our acharyas, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu mentioning just now, giving gallons of blood to stress what is not Krishna consciousness. And all of our acharyas means Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, all giving gallons of blood to stress what is not the proper Siddhanta. And we know that Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he was very even-tempered. He was the embodiment of humility, tolerance, giving honor to others. I mean, very even, very affectionate person. But he would get positively rattled. I mean, rattled, for the translators, it doesn't mean rattled. It means he would get positively disturbed when wrong things were given out, when people are talking about high subject matters without any proper understanding or without really having the adhikar, the qualification to do so. And when there is like the wrong thing being presented as Krishna consciousness, that really disturbed Gurudev. When the scriptures are being misused to present what is not, then that was a big disturbance. And by the way, that's why Buddha appeared, because that time the population were misusing the scripture for animal sacrifices. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur appeared so that he can stress what is the message of Mahaprabhu, and that to give great caution about what is not the message of Mahaprabhu, and dealing with Mahaprabhu's message and dealing with these subject matters out of place and out of adhikar. Well, we've been joined by another person who was recently in London. Here's Sri Lekha Devi Dasi.
I just wanted to come and to offer my Dhanavad to all the denizens of the London temple. I guess you didn't hear me, but I just
and the world, keep it close to you, and the worldwide assembly who have all come to sit in the London temple with Saraswati Devi Dasi and the devotees there.
Dhanavad. That was all, Maharaj. I just wanted to come in now for my obeisances.
What have you been doing? Why weren't you here earlier? Explain to us.
I was following the order of a great sadhu. Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudana Maharaj asked me to stay in the temple room and to talk to some very nice persons who have come from Ukraine, and they are coming to join in the Villa Govinda ashram as a bhakti yoga retreat. So this is their first evening here, and all of them know Narayani Devi, who is very, very nice devotee, and they've come to learn about Krishna consciousness, and they're very sweet and asked a very nice question. So we had a little program tonight.
I did not, just a little correction. I don't like to correct the senior devotees,
Oh,
but I didn't order Srila.
well, no, he
I
didn't.
requested.
He did. He
I thought she
requested
would
it.
be the fittest person to communicate nicely with the new person.
He didn't order, but I take his request as order
Hare
as far as possible.
I have to go now, Maharaj. Dandavats, Maharaj. I have to. I had an appointment with someone at 7 o'clock.
Okay, and I heard that you'll be leaving by 7, so that's why we asked you to speak first. And Prabhu, very grateful. My obeisances to you, and the rest of the devotees will stay with us.
I think
Yes,
so.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Right, Dandavats.
Radha Pandit Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanyavad.
Jai Shri
Dhanyavad.
Gurudev,
Nice
Jai
to
Shri
see
Guru
you.
Maharaj.
Jai.
Maharaj, I just wanted to add a little bit because you asked me before. I just remember Gurudev was very specific about what books we should read, what song we should sing. And so we stick to that. It's very important not to read books that are not being prescribed by our Gurudev. And also the songs, there are songs that we're not singing and like that, because some devotees, they just go on and read other books, and that's not very beneficial for their spiritual life. And also when we read certain areas of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are very high pastimes. We have to be very careful to not think or perceive them as mundane things. So I just wanted to say that, that's all.
Yes, indeed. And also on the subject matter of in the temple, then we are doing Parayan, the continuous reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita forever until we die. It's not temporary. It's really, this is given to us by our masters. So this is their instruction for us, their guidance. And I personally asked to Gurudev, and I didn't ask Gurudev lots of things because I'm hearing his answers and we're there just to help and not to cause him, oh, why this, why that, or anything. But on practical things, I did ask him some points which I hadn't heard, like explained clearly. And one was, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are truly high sections of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which we really have to be careful about. And I asked the Gurudev, should we skip that section when we're reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita and then continue, when that chapter ends and something else begins? And Gurudev, he said, he considered and said, no, we won't miss out any part, but it will not be the subject of our commenting and our discussion, except
that
perhaps to mention this English expression of fools rush in where angels fear to tread, which is the theme of this evening. But in other words, we will read, and we have the caution, the continuous caution of Srila Prabhupada when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if you're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, I sincerely hope that you are only accessing to Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita and not looking for anybody else's commentary. And similarly, if you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam or any of these scriptures which have been translated with word for word and everything, please, only from Srila Prabhupada's editions, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's editions. And he is giving so much caution everywhere. And you see, ideally, we will read the book from the first word all the way through till the last word, and then start again. But when devotees come into the temple, then the temple reading is going on. And in Navadip, it was like that too. It's not that everybody is in the temple, the same people are in the temple when verse 1 of chapter 1 is read, and all the way through. So we will take it with great caution. But ideally, we should read Chaitanya Charitamrita ourselves from the very beginning, because as we are finding out here or being reminded here in Vila Govinda, the Chaitanya Charitamrita was fairly, relatively recently finished here, and we're starting it again. But how much stress Krishna Das Kaviraj is giving for establishing who is Krishna, who is Mahaprabhu. We are not dealing with mundane person, with people of this world. We're dealing with topics of the Supreme Lord, God, to whom we all pray in his highest form, in his original form. So this advice or this reminder from Saraswati that she's given is of the reminder of the advice of all of our masters to be very careful with what we read. And if in doubt, don't read that book, it's number one. But ideally, if we are in doubt, we can ask somebody, even if it is the books that have been given by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. In general, we can give some recommendation of what to read. And by the way, I just read one full chapter of The Science of Self-Realization, the very first book I read. And again, I was struck by Srila Prabhupada's presentation, and I really thought I should become a devotee. And you won't find Srila Prabhupada or any of our masters like meeting somebody for the first time or very early and then talking about the very highest subject matters. So we are all children in the eyes of Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. There is no doubt about it. And we must be very cautious. And also this theme of fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Then we've just had Radharani's appearance day and Lalita Devi's appearance day. So you will note that really we are also being very cautious and indicating and taking excerpts. If we are saying anything about like Srimati Radharani and Lalita, we are taking as far as possible the exact words of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj that are printed so that we can present things directly from them. But we are not going to ourselves really elaborate so much, because we can only say what they have said. And for me, the best way of saying what they have said is to read what they've said. And not just read it, but read it and try to express as they expressed. But on special days, I mean, we sort of do have to take Radharani's name a little bit on Radhastami. But on special days, that will happen. But otherwise, we will keep it to the topics which are safe when we are discussing about things. We are not going to sit around the prasadam table and discuss fine topics of Radha Krishna Lila. That's a big no-no. And not only about the fine topics, talking about Krishna, talking about the associates of Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, talking about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gokishore Das Babaji, talking about their associates, then we must be very careful. We must be careful about everything in the senior realm. Actually, we must be very careful about all Vaishnavas, not just the senior. And as Gurudev said about devotees who had come and were serving, we don't know who they are. And we had a devotee, came to Navadip and passed away in Navadip. And Gurudev gave so much credit to him after he passed away by seeing how he passed away. And I can immediately think of 2 now, and one from America also. 2 devotees in particular that Gurudev, seeing their nature and how they left the world, then Gurudev commented like after, we cannot tell who we are with. One was Rishabdev,
Yeah.
and the other one
Was from Hawaii.
was from Hawaii, yes.
85, I think.
Yeah, maybe 1985.
The last thing that he said.
Have you got the microphone
mind?
close to you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
But do speak a little loudly. They're a long way away. It's 1,000 kilometers to London or more.
that boy, he suddenly got malaria of the brain, and he was a very gentle person. And the last thing that he said before he passed away, he said, I'm sorry that I didn't ask permission to get sick.
Hare Krishna.
It was just a really gentle person. And Gurudev gave a lot of nourishment.
You know what? I think I asked him that the evening before. Oh dear. Sometimes I do ask devotees, did you get permission? Did you take permission to get sick? You know, you have to take permission. I think I asked him that because the evening before he was walking, and he walked to our local dispensary and came back. So I didn't know what you just said. But one thing, he'd been for the blood tests and everything. This particular devotee, he'd been for the blood tests. But the blood tests, they take a little time to come back. And as Pushti Krishna said, until you get a blood test, you never really know what it is from the symptoms. And he had malaria and what did you say he had?
Well, he had malaria of the brain.
Oh, you said malaria. Oh, he said he had malaria and something else.
And it went to the brain somehow.
And anyway, he had two things. When his blood test came back, he got two things at once, and this knocked him out. But he came, but the point is, okay, physically what causes death? But Gurudev said about him, he said he came to the Dham. He was offenseless, and he really was. He was so gentle and just, very offenseless, very gentle, very sweet, very junior also. He wasn't a prominent devotee, in that sense, if you like. But his nature was very sweet. He came to the Dham and he passed away in the Dham. And when it was Aravinda Lochan Prabhu who said to Gurudev, so we should do a ceremony for him after 10 days, and for his soul, like that. And Gurudev seriously said to him, what can you do for him? What can we do for him? He came to the Dham and Krishna has taken him. And really, we all have to leave the body by some, for some reason, whether it's malaria or cancer or old age. But even old age has a reason. They usually say died of something. People die of all sorts of things, as we know. Anyway, how did we get there? Anyway, yes, very good point. So we must be careful not only about rushing in to discuss lightly topics about Krishna and his associates and the senior devotees, those from Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all the way through, and not only the senior devotees, but all the devotees. And in these cases, you can say they're junior certainly to Gurudev, but Gurudev then giving so much certificate to them after they've passed away. And the other one was Rishabdev Prabhu in the United States. And he said, we don't know who we are with. He said, we cannot tell. But by how they pass away, then we can say something. So don't lightly talk about others. We are not the judge, and also our safe position is definitely not to go into the criticism of others, but even saying who is higher, who is lower, this is very dangerous ground, and especially when we're going to say that about our guru section, our guru section, and that section. But we have Vaninath Prabhu here with us, and he's leaving tomorrow evening. He's going to Portugal. He got just a few days opportunity from the government to come to be here. He's taking refuge in Italy. Oh, Italy. He's taking refuge in, oh yeah, Ireland. Sorry, it's late in the evening. It's taking refuge in Ireland. It begins with an I, okay. And a lot of the Ukrainians, they are taking refuge in Portugal. We have anyway, long story. He's in Ireland. He's living at the temple by the arrangement of the government, just like potluck, but by Krishna's grace, he's living in the Limerick temple. He's got accommodation there through the government support in Ireland as a refugee from Ukraine. But he's been a very active devotee in promotion of Krishna consciousness in Ukraine. And those festivals that you've heard about, when the last festival I attended, 25,000 people came over 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3-day festival, 25,000 people came. And Vaninath Prabhu was a key player in the advertising and administration of that. So he's very capable and he's very sincere. We've known him for many years from being in Ukraine, and we have him as a very welcome guest here in Vila Govinda for these festival days recently. So I do want him to say a few words, whether it's on Fools Rush In or whether it's just to share something with us all, London and the whole world, it seems, are joining us in London, and the whole world is welcome.
And that's all the devotees. Sorry, my English is not very good.
It's good. We've been talking all day.
I can understand, but sometimes I cannot express my ideas. First of all, I want to say that I'm very happy to be here in association with Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, Shri Lekha Didi, and also in association with Saraswati Didi, with Anjali Didi. They were here recently. Yesterday, we just met with him. Yes, and Krishna Kanta Didi, Munindra Prabhu. Yeah, they called me here a few times, and finally it happens. I'm here, and as everywhere where I was in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, in every temple, there is a feeling when you come somewhere by the grace of Avadut Maharaj, and there is a feeling that there is a family. And when I'm going from one place to another place, so it's the first thing, this is separation with family in one place, but connect in another place. Yes, and yeah, in Ukraine it was a big team, 200 plus volunteers who helped with the Life Festival. And of course, this is a power energetic of Srila Avadut Maharaj, and it was something amazing. I don't even understand what I did there. Actually, here the same in this room, Srila Govinda Maharaj's room, in Vila Govinda, in association of senior Vaishnavas, me and also Achintya Prabhu, that was here on the Radhashtami, and now I have the same feeling. Am I supposed to be here? What I'm doing here? I need to be somewhere in the kitchen, maybe. Have duty there. So this is, I don't know, this is some mercy of Gurudev. My story, how I came to Ireland, met devotee in the same room. It's amazing. Yes, and what I heard here during this couple of days, I definitely need to hear it one more time from the recording in Facebook, Instagram, one few recording I got, and there were, I don't know how to explain, but I can say that what I understood here by the grace of Srila Madhusudan Maharaj that what I can understand that we have the treasure, and it's like the highest and at the same time the deepest knowledge of Krishna consciousness, and it's very important that it's my lucky, our lucky, our fortune that we have guidance and protection of our Guru Varga, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Shridhar Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual masters, our Vaishnavas, Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, all Vaishnavas, and it's our fortune, that's my fortune, that's I'm here, because my idea was, before I met the devotees, I wanted to go somewhere in India and go to holy places. I read some books, you know, I had some call inside who I am, what I'm coming for here, came for here in this world, what is purpose of my life, etc. And I just think how I'm lucky that I couldn't go there without devotees. So it didn't happen. I wasn't nowhere in India without devotees, without the guidance of Madhvamanka Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj, Avadut Maharaj, and other devotees, our senior Vaishnavas. And it's, I'm just very grateful that I couldn't do this alone with my friends. I had some plan, but somebody maybe make it in a proper way. Yes, and I wanted to go somewhere in Asia, live in Asia, to visit different places. But what I've got, this is millions times more. I don't know, not times. Like it's better, it's more. I couldn't even imagine that this all exists. Yes, and for now, I don't understand for sure what treasure we have, because if I understood this, so like during like every day there was like at least 2-3 hours of listening our spiritual masters, yeah, our Guru Varga, our Vaishnavas, but I don't do this now. So yes, I feel myself like in like childhood in some preschool in the highest university of Krishna consciousness, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. So like not even in school, but preschool. So just trying to understand and trying to make some attempts to serve. Jai Gurudev, what can I say? Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. And this is actually the theme: to keep us safe is to be with the devotees and not to do things just by ourselves, read a book and go here, go there or something. But actually our connections with the devotees, and what Krishna wants from us is that we serve the devotee of the devotee of the devotee. Mahaprabhu himself saying, to consider myself das, anudas, anudas, anudas. I just want any connection in service to, we can say it, Radha Krishna, to that highest quarter, and that is being distributed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, I mean, we do have some excerpts, but the excerpts that I chose, I don't think we'll read them today, because we've got live the devotees who are going to express something, and Sri Lekha is here, and she's always got something very fresh for us, with fresh examples and lots of things. But I'll just say that what I had in mind also to stress to the devotees was about the verse that was composed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, this Matala Harijana Kirtana Range Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bange, slightly modified there by Srila Gurudev. But in this excerpt, and I was reminded of it just now from Vaninath, Srila Gurudev, so first of all, that verse means that from afar, a long distance, we are to worship the pastimes of Krishna. And we are to pray that in future it may come down to us, that high pastor, through the mercy of the Vaishnavas and Guru. We are to understand our present position and, with care and respect, progress towards our transcendental destination. And then Srila Gurudev says, the first priority is to be given to serving Guru and the Vaishnavas. By serving Guru and the Vaishnavas, we receive service to Krishna. This is the main conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From so many slokas of different sources, we can see that service to the Vaishnava and Guru is our present life's goal. And through that, we must get direct service to Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. But always our protector is our Guru. And my Guru's protector is his Guru. His protector is his Guru. And in this way, our Guru Parampara is going up to Srimati Radharani. Krishna is always present in Goloka, so the servitors are serving very happily. Krishna can show himself at any moment, anywhere. And they are eager to, the servitors are eager to engage in his service under the guidance of Srimati Radharani. So like in a short space, Gurudev has told what we have to do, but he's also given us that promise of what a wonderful, solid life of topmost service is awaiting. So anyhow, this puja, Matala Haritana Kirtana Range, Pujana Ragapata Gaurava Bange. This verse is our reminder for keeping our feet on the ground, and we are in Mahaprabhu's line. We are worshipping Mahaprabhu and the Lord through Kirtan. And Sri Lanka, living word or two from you, if you wish.
Yeah, I just wanted, one little story that I was thinking, I was thinking,
Because
okay.
I was saying you were quiet the other day.
Oh, okay, sorry. It just came to my mind just in here now in the temple room about when we were in Navadvip, the one mother and her child were sitting in front of Gurudev. This was Tanushri, actually, the child, but she was really, really very young, maybe almost 2 years old or something like that. And Srila Gurudev ordered that some chocolate, come bring me some chocolate. I want to give her some chocolate, and big chocolate bar. And Gurudev handed it to her, and she didn't take it. She looked up first, and then she took it. And Gurudev said, oh, this is very intelligent. She's not just taking, but she wants to see who's giving it. And it made me think, you know, that this has to be our practice, that we're always looking up, look up and see where everything is coming from, what magnanimous hand is coming towards us in the circumstances of our lives to come and push us in the direction that we need to go somehow or other. So that was just a little story that I was thinking of.
Beautiful. And now Tanushri is 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah, 17, yeah.
Or
almost.
17.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, dear devotees, joyful to see everybody's names, joyful to see the devotees, for those who are showing your form to us, and joyful to be with you and to be in London. And of course, we're missing Devashish Prabhu. And Devashish Prabhu, he's in India, and he'll be there for a little while. But the London Zooms, he wants the London Zooms to go on, and it's like so late at night. And I did say to Devashish Prabhu, maybe you can make a make some recording and just give us a little bit from your contribution from India during these times. But he just got there. He flew. I don't know if he even reached his destination. He's been in the sky. So in remembrance of Devashishwari. And Devashishwari always has some interesting stories to tell. And if he was with us today, I'm sure he would say how Krishna is teaching him renunciation, because his car, while he's driving it, caught on fire. And not only that, he stopped the car, pulled over, got out of the car, and the whole car burnt. Exploded and burnt fully. So I'm sure Devashish would have a very enlivening Krishna conscious perspective on such a thing. But his life, as everybody's life, is full of many. Just to the environment, isn't that so, Sri?
That's our practice. Not easy always, but we would try to remember.
All right, all good souls, all good devotees, we appreciate very much the company of you all, and we're very happy to be in the West London temple and to see the decorations, the festivals going on, and the festivals that are going on and are going on all over the world. And as we see here, devotees coming from all over the world to London, to the London temple, and to being with you all and seeing each other and meeting each other here. Jai Om Vishwapa Shila Bhakti Sonda Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Oh, the light is in the wrong way, but here's Gurudev's picture on his very bed, his own bed here in Vila Govinda Ashram in his room. And Jai Shila Guru Maharaj Shila Bhakti Rakhok Shila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. And to Jai Shila Bhagavan, Vishwareni Shila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And all the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai. All the devotees present online and in the recording. So meetings in the recording ki Jai. And all Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai. And to our dear Sri Lekha Devi Rasi, and to Vanina Saraswati and all the team there, Lavanyamoy and Gadadhar Pandit, who spoke so nicely just before, from the heart and with good sound basis, to all of you, our jais, our appreciation, and obeisances. Vancha Kaukalubhyascha, Kripasindhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Krishna Krishna